is Wilson Buru. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Let's start with the nurses who throughout the country will not down their tools as had earlier threatened, but will instead engage with the government to end their pay dispute. The Kenya National Union of Nurses this morning issued an assurance of suspending the industrial action and give dialogue a chance, saying the striking will be their last resort. The union chairman also appealed to the national government to give nurses Ebola protective gears, especially those working at border and entry points.
Ripoti kama hiyo haijatufikia kama wauguzi ati wanaenda mgomo. Kwa hivyo ninasema hakuna mgomo ya wauguzi kwa wakati huu. Tumechagua mazungumzo ambayo imeanza na serikali kwa afya, kwa idara ya afya, na tunauliza hiyo idara ya afya itengeneze mkakati ambayo tutamaliza hiyo mambo haraka iwezekanavyo.
We want to tell Brother Toli, as a respected member in the union movement, that the nurses will speak for themselves. They don't need him. We will not require him. He has never been for us. Let him keep his cool and sort out the plantation workers.
Tungependa serikali tuhusishe kwa mipango iko nayo kwa masuala ya Ebola. Na tumesema wauguzi wapate training na wawe equipped. Kwa hivyo serikali haijafanya hivyo kuzungumza na sisi kuhusu hilo swala. Wakati tutazungumzia pamoja kuhusu hilo swala, tutawaweka mbele matokeo yao.
No, a GSU officer was last night killed and one police vehicle burnt down after the police were ambushed by cattle rustlers in the Kiserian area, Baringo County. 5 other officers were injured in the ambush and have since been taken to hospital. The personnel were in 2 vehicles pursuing rustlers who had raided a village and stolen animals when they were ambushed. Police and locals say the raiders, who are believed to be from Pokot, managed to escape with the animals, and more reinforcement has been dispatched to that area to track them down. It is not yet clear if there are deaths or injuries of civilians. Masinda Muliro University of Science and Technology will from early next year flag a constituent college in Budalangi to offer courses in flood mitigation. The World Bank has disbursed 140 million shillings towards expanding and upgrading of Bunyala Institute of Technology, which has since been converted to a constituent college of Masinda Muliro University. Budalangi residents, led by their MP Ababuna Mwamba, and officials from the university, led by Professor Jacob Wakungu, held an open consultative forum at Bunyala Disaster Management Rescue Center yesterday to finalize the arrangements. The teams later inspected the ongoing construction of the Bunyala Institute of Science and Technology, which is in its final phase and has a 300-bed capacity.
Education and sustainable development. The other one is disaster management and humanitarian assistance. The other one is peace and conflict studies, and the 4th one is in disaster preparedness and engineering.
Already we have a number of facilities going on here. The building behind us here is fully funded by the Budalangi CDF. We have given the Budalangi CDF a target of completing this building within 1 month, because it's part of it is at the heart of our program starting here in January. The buildings further back were supported by the World Bank, which are basically ready. The ablutions, the multipurpose hall that is ready.
Now, for a region that has been consistently dry for ages, youth in Garbatula in ISIOLO County are now eking a living out of farming, and almost unheard of practice in an area whose residents' main source of income is through pastoralism. Garbatula literally means plenty of water in the Borana language, a far cry from the reality on the ground.
The name Garbatula is derived from the Borana language, and it means
Garbatula inamaanisha wingi wa maji, na hiyo ndo jina imetokea Garbatula.
Incredibly then, an irony of sorts that the name Garbatula loosely translated means a place with a lot of water, yet by its aridity is what residents here are familiar with. Donkeys ferrying water in jerry cans dot the scene, and Jotane Boru's story of walking for over 2 hours in the scorching sun in search of water is the norm here.
Shida iko maji. Garba mbali sana.
That piped water will be available to several households in ISIOLO South is indeed welcome news. Piping is already underway, and through the Taiboto water project that is near completion, self-reliance will be a reality.
Pipe yameshabelekwa kila Manyata.
Taiboto water project is funded by Italian government through the National Water Board.
We are actually changing the whole water system in Garbatula town. We are changing the piping system. We are building more tanks.
This water tank at Matagara is what several families depend on, with an average of 300 people coming to fetch water daily at a fee of 3 shillings per 20-litre jerrycan of water and 2 shillings per 10-litre jerrycan. Piped water is a luxury to many inhabitants of this vast county, a majority of whom are pastoralists. But once the water project is complete, then at least every homestead will have access to water right to their doorsteps. And to demonstrate just what availability of water can do through irrigation, here is a cultivated parcel of land in Gafarsa. Ripe tomatoes and an assortment of other crops such as watermelons, a sharp contrast from the usually dry Gafarsa.
Sasa ng'ombe ilikufa, mbuzi ilikufa. Sasa tukasema kuna njia nyingine ya kufanya.
Yahya Ibrahim says the bountiful harvest often reaches far-flung equally dry areas such as Kina, Modogash, Sericho, Merti and Garbatula.
Kama tuseme kama wanyama kama tumbili, kama nyani, hivyo sasa ndio inatusumbua sana wakati ya usiku, wakati ya mchana. Na wakati ya usiku nayo kuna wanyama wengine kama fisi, wanakula watermelon, wanakula hata nyanya.
Availability of water will transform the lives of the people, a majority of whom still rely on relief food, but with adequate water, it will be a different story altogether. Carol Derry, KTN, ISIOLO South Constituency.
Section of leaders from Meru County are now seeking what they term as a unified front to pressure the national government to meet the demands of the residents. 82 leaders, including the governor, senator, MPs, and members of the county assembly, held a 6-hour meeting to come up with strategies to ensure that the county is not left out of the agenda by the national government. The leaders claim the county has been discriminated in national appointments for positions such as ambassadors, yet it has qualified people. They also claim that the national government has not equitably distributed development projects such as road construction.
Viongozi wa leo wamekata kauli, wameongea, wameamua ya kwamba watafanya na wataendelea kufanya kazi pamoja. Viongozi waliochaguliwa katika zile maward, MCAs, gavana wetu Munya, seneta wetu Kiraitu, women rep wetu Kajuju na wabunge wale wengine tulio hapa, ya kwamba tutaungana na leadership yetu ya county kufanyia watu wa Meru kazi.
In terms of the numbers of votes that we give to Jubilee government, we not understand why we should be the last county in the distribution of the rural roads, the rural care. We are going to fight that. We are ready to go even to court to challenge that on the basis of discrimination against our county.
The political parties tribunal suspended a gazette notice that had spelled the death of the Party of National Unity, PNU. The Registrar of Political Parties, Lucindongo, had set in motion the process of winding up PNU for failure to make returns as required by the law. The news shocked many who witnessed the vibrancy and sheer power of the party that has secured retired President Mwai Kibaki his second term in office as president. How could the president's party die? KTN's Patrick Amimo takes an in-depth look.
Officials of PNU rushed to the political party tribunal to appeal against moves to dissolve the party. The Register of Political Parties has already issued a gazette notice to deregister the party for failing to make annual returns as required by law. But PNU lawyer Steve Mogaka argues the party has not received any correspondence from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and if any, maybe it had been sent to a wrong address. The rain started beating PNU in October 2012 when the party's National Executive Committee entered a tentative election pact with the National Alliance Party, TNA. Under the agreement, PNU resolved to support Uhuru Kenyatta's presidential bid. However, PNU was not to field any candidate individually for any elective seat. PNU members were to participate in the joint TNA nomination with the winning candidate running under TNA. It would appear PNU had become a victim of lack of clear succession plans as Kibaki completed his term.
Britain, for example, when Labour loses an election, they begin to prepare a successor for the loser. And the same thing to Democratic Party in America. Right now, Obama is running his last term. The Democrats are now looking for the person who will be the flag bearer. But PNU didn't have such a preparation. It was Kibaki and Kibaki alone. Kibaki was PNU and PNU was Kibaki.
PNU was formed primarily to offer President Kibaki a ticket to stand for a second term.
In the 2002 elections, Mwai Kibaki was the flag bearer of the National Rainbow Coalition, NAC, and won the elections. But as his term was about to end, there was a split in the Grand Coalition. Kibaki's allies had pulled out of NAC and formed NAC Kenya. In mid-September 2007, Kibaki announced he would seek a second term in State House under the Party of National Unity, PNU, a coalition of several parties that included KANU, NAC Kenya, Ford Kenya, and Democratic Party, among others.
In Africa, the challenge has been that many politicians are turncoats. Many of them are turncoats, and they use political parties as vehicles, as means of accessing power.
Many political parties are formed with the sole mission to propel their leaders to State House. When this does not happen on schedule, there sets in disillusionment and disappointment, and sometimes to the party members and supporters, hopelessness.
Political parties in Kenya are yet to nurture a culture based on ideology and hardly fully implement their manifestos once in power.
A party may have a blueprint, a manifesto, based on certain ideology, but when it comes to election time, or when it comes to their practical application, they find that the terrain, the political terrain, is not conducive to political ideology.
The other problem affecting survival of political parties in Kenya is tribalism and ethnicity.
All our parties have regional outlooks. KANU was seen by and large during Kenyatta's time as a central province outfit. During Moi's time, it was seen to be buttressed around the Rift Valley. Today, ODM is seen to be a Luo Nyanza affair. A Wiper is seen to be an Ukambani affair. A TNA is seen to be a Central or Mount Kenya affair.
If today the tribal king or queen decides that they are moving from party X to party B, the membership of that tribe would have no question. They would voluntarily follow their leader.
How then can Kenya's political parties be assisted to survive outside political patronage from their leaders?
Kenya needs to spend more money to invest in democracy. And by investing in democracy, it means funding all political parties. Give some portion from the exchequer to TNA to develop its structures, to URP to develop her structures, to Wiper, to ODM and all other political parties.
The Political Parties Tribunal has ruled that PNU should continue with its activities pending hearing and determination of the appeal. The case will be heard inter partes on 7th November. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
Well, it's time to take a short break now, but don't you go away. KTN's Weekend at One will be back shortly. And 17,000 participants took the track, but it was Peter Kosgei who emerged victorious in this year's edition of the STANCHART Nairobi Marathon after an impressive display. Kosgei, who trains at Kaptorokwa village in Elgeyo Marakwet, led the leading pack from the onslaught of the race, facing off tight opposition from Elisha Kiprop and Weldon Kirui. Kosgei clocked 2 hours, 12 minutes and 24 seconds ahead of second-placed Elisha Bano with an impressive 2 hours, 12 minutes and 28 seconds. Kirui Weldon was in the third position. In the ladies' full marathon, Eunice Chepto of the Kenya Defence Forces emerged victorious, clocking 2 hours 43 minutes and 5 seconds ahead of experienced Irene Kipchumba in the second position, who registered 2 hours 44 minutes and 16 seconds. Janet Jeruto was third. 26 million Kenya shillings has been raised to gear up the Seeing is Believing initiative.
Nimefika. Race imekuwa mzuri. Joto pia iko juu. Na ninashukuru.